All right, what's going on? This is your boy Charles Wells, aka CWells, coming at you with another edition of SWAC Smoke. As usual, it's me and DJ. How you doing today, DJ?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Coming off of the exciting weekend of football.
Oh yeah, week one is officially in the books, and there was some good, some bad, some ugly. Typical to me, it was a typical week one. You never know what you're gonna get from people, and there was teams who hadn't played in a long time, and then some teams played in the spring. Some people was rusty, some weren't. So there was a lot of games. Let's run through. Let's run through.
All right.
All right. Did you? Oh, you want to go ahead? Did you tally up how we did on our picks?
Yeah. You went 8-1 on the weekend. I went 7-2. But if you want to just recap, we can do that.
All right, let's just kind of go game by game, and we'll kind of talk about anything that we want to point out about that game, and then we'll just move like that.
All right. The Murray State game. I think we both picked Murray State on that one. I mean, it kind of went as expected, in my opinion. What you think about that one?
Yeah, I think the only thing that surprised me was that Valley didn't score. Um, I actually watched that game on the phone in my car because we had no power from the storm, and I was just that hungry for football. So I went out in
Yeah.
the car and listened to it, and I was not happy. Valley couldn't really do anything, and Murray State just ran over them. But I think Valley, they got some work to do. But that was a tough outing for them either way it went.
Facts. One game that really shocked me was the Alabama State Miles College game. I didn't expect overtime for them to win that game, but nevertheless, a school like Miles College had nothing to lose. They was gonna come in there and go blow for blow.
Yeah, I actually watched a little bit of that game because I was like trying to distract myself from Southern, but they Alabama State looked like they was going to take control of that game early, but they just never could, and they did the one thing that you cannot do against a team, and that's let them hang around. You can't, let team just be around and not knock them out the box. I think actually I was listening to the coach's teleconference, and the coach Ely said he think that when Miles scored that touchdown in overtime, that woke up his team. I'm like, that's a little bit too late to wake up, but I guess whatever it takes, that's what it takes. But I just was surprised, obviously, at the result. But they survived, and you can't ask for much more than that.
Right, a win's a win. Then we go on to the Southern and Troy game, which I was very shocked they couldn't get in the end zone either. Southern, I mean, I expected, you know, pretty much what happened. I was rooting for Southern. I thought they had a chance to win that. I picked them in the upset, but I was big time wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I figured Southern could put together a couple drives and put some points on the board, but they four interceptions. That's you're not gonna have any success against a team like that if you're turning the ball over multiple times. They had a couple of drives that they put together. The drive they got the field goal on was a good drive, and defensively they played. Even though the score doesn't show it, they played well in spots. They just could not get stops. They actually had Troy on a fourth down early in the game, and they let them convert, and then they scored a touchdown on the fourth down. So, those are things that you just can't do. But you know, you just get that check and rebound and put this behind you, burn all the film.
Right. Alabama A&M, South Carolina State. I think we both picked A&M in that one. Knew it was going to be close. Um, Alabama A&M defense, they can't seem to stop anybody. And even though I think Glass is a phenomenal player. He only completed 57%. I mean, you can look at it and say maybe, for a SWAC quarterback, that's normal, whatever. But, for how high he's ranked and pro potential, 28 or 49, not terrible, 426 and 4 TDs. I'm not saying he had a terrible game, but I kind of look at completion percentages. How many are you throwing versus how many you completing. And but overall, they got the dub.
Yeah, I think like you said, completion percentage it means a lot, and that's like a stat that a lot of people ignore. I mean, you could throw for 400 yards and not complete that many passes if you hit enough big plays.
Right.
But a high completion percentage means you're making smart decisions. You're not just trying to look deep. You're taking the check downs if they're there. You're taking what the defense give you, and then you hit big. But I think for them to, the defense got to get better. That's just it's first game, and they got a lot of guys new, so maybe they'll jail. But you can't win every game 42-41 and try to win the conference. That's just not gonna work. So if the defense don't improve enough to slow people down, they're gonna drop somewhere because somebody gonna be able to go step for step for you, and somebody gonna make that one play that a team like South Carolina State can't make. They're not a passing team, so they can't make that play. But somebody can, and that's gonna be dangerous.
All right, we're gonna go to Arkansas Pine Bluff and Lane College, in which I wasn't impressed by UAPB. I mean, early in the game, I think it might have been the first pass. Starting quarterback Skylar Perry threw the ball in the dirt on a swing pass. Like never even got to the receiver. He threw several bad balls early, fumbled early. They put the backup in the first quarter. He threw bad balls, making poor decision. Both of them played kind of timid. Could be first game jitters. It's just they didn't look very well against Lane College, which they were UAPB overmatched them in size in the trenches, and I think that's where the game was won and lost at. But I want to give Lane College some credit. They really played. The score don't really justify how well they played against UAPB. And whoever the offensive coordinator is for Lane, hey, if I was another school, I'd be calling him because I mean he put together some plays. And I've been watching football and playing for a long time, and he had me confused on where the ball was at sometimes. So I mean, he's definitely innovative with his play calling and made a lot of big plays using that. But overall, I think PB is not the team that they were in the spring. I don't know if the transfers that hurt them, or maybe coaches was just holding back, not really opening up the offense. But like you said, you can tell when somebody's a baller, no matter what is being called, and they showed flashes, but winning the West again, I just didn't see that in them.
Yeah, I kind of followed the game mainly through the score, and I was actually it looked like just looking at the score that Pine Bluff was gonna just pull on away, and then the next time I look at the score, Lane was still they were still close enough to make it a little bit uncomfortable, and like I say, you have to some kind of way you have to knock those kind of teams out. You don't really want this game to go into the fourth quarter, that close. But when it does, they need to make some plays. And like you said, if they came out sloppy early, then somebody was probably trying to make that big play out the gate. Sometimes you see teams do that. They try to go for the knockout. Somebody try to make a big play when it's not there yet. But I'm gonna say as a neutral person that I'm gonna chalk it up to first game, and a lower division opponent, sometimes you just, you don't really show it all. But, I'm going to keep my eyes on them for sure, because there's no more opportunities like that coming up on the schedule. So they're going to have to be ready, and they're going to have to play and take care of business. That's just, you can't play like that.
Right. Another thing I was disappointed in was the band. Like, to me, everything about the game was mediocre. I mean, like, it's like everybody was holding back. Nothing was up to standard. But anyway, moving past that game, the one thing I was really impressed by was the PV Texas Southern. I think you picked TSU. I picked PV, but I know you were saying you didn't know what the offense was going to do, but them boys went out and balled.
Man, I was so wrong. I was so wrong. And like, I've watched, Juwan pass at Louisville when he played.
Right.
I just, for whatever reason, I just feel like I didn't, sometimes it take a quarterback a while to get, especially when a new guy come in over the summer. But he made some plays, and they stretched that game out, and Texas Southern, they couldn't keep up. And I was honestly shocked. But you don't underestimate Coach Dooley. Coach Dooley knows offense, and if you give him a quarterback, he's gonna make you work. And if their defense stays like it is, because the defense is tough, but they're looking like they want to put together one of them old Prairie View offenses from the last couple years. If that offense get to where it is, where they deadly anytime they got the ball, they're gonna be a challenger in the division. And they had a really solid game. I was surprised they put up 40 points. Honestly, I thought Texas Southern was going to win hands down, and I was wrong.
And going back to that completion percentage thing, Juwan Pass completed 67%. So that's 10%, higher than Glass. So, I mean.
Yeah, and that's the guy that's new with his team and his receivers. So he took what he had. I saw him make a few big plays down the field, but he took what he had, and he didn't force nothing. So if he continued to play discipline like that, they're gonna be dangerous.
Yep. All right, moving on to Bethune Cookman and Utep, which I thought Bethune Cookman did very well. I was very happy to see Shannon Patrick, which is a UAPB transfer. I really liked him at quarterback. I wish he had stayed at UAPB, but he moved on. But he kept them hanging around in that game. I think that Bethune Cookman may be pretty decent. It's still early to tell, but I think they may be very competitive this year.
Yeah, I always felt like coming into the season with a team like Bethune Cookman, they are a team who prides themselves on defense and running, and just being a physical team. I always felt like if they could get their quarterback situation straightened out, that they were going to be tough in the East, because I do not see them as a fifth place team. I just can't see it. But if Shannon Patrick is the guy, he's obviously experienced, so that definitely helps. And they were right there in that game. They couple plays here and there, they could have pulled it out. So I was really impressed with them, and I think if they continue the way they're doing, then they'll be tough for the rest of the season.
I wish him the best success, man. I think he's a pretty good quarterback. And then we get to the Grambling State, Tennessee State game, which I didn't get a chance to see much of it because it was on during the other game. But, I mean, I don't really know what to think right now. Statistically, on the offensive side of the ball, Grambling didn't impress me or wow me any. And playing like that, don't know how far they're going to make it in the SWAC, but nevertheless, they got a victory. Neither team really played lights out. And I don't know. I just really don't know. Maybe you've seen more of that game than I have.
Honestly, I didn't see much of it because I was tuned into the game we're gonna talk about after this. But you can't win very many games with 43 yards passing unless you like Army or somebody that
Yeah.
runs the ball for 400 yards. So that I think Walker was 4 of 11 for 43 yards.
Yeah.
That's not going to win you very many games. Tennessee State they weren't better. They played three
Nope.
quarterbacks, and I still don't know what they expect from Tennessee State. But Grambling, they won, and coming off of that 0-4 spring, and everybody saying Grambling is dead and this and that. For them to find a way to win that game, not playing well, I think that speaks highly of that team. But they're gonna have to improve. That offense is gonna have to improve because you're not gonna win very many games with 200 and some odd yards of offense. That's just not. You can't win every game like that. So that's gonna have to step up. And honestly, I'm glad they won. So people won't be hollering about Grambling not gonna win a game this year. So kudos to them. And before we go too far, I got a bet with one of my cousins that Southern gonna beat Grambling in the Classic, but he won't bet me if Grambling don't win at least 4 games. So I need Grambling to win because I want his money.
All right. They may be able to do that for you.
Yeah, I need that.
All right, to the game of the week. JSU over FAMU. Now, of course, in the groups on Facebook, you got probably 3/4 of the people talking about, oh, it was trash game, trash offense, this and that. And to me, you got about 1/4 of the group who understand football. I mean, was it the best, offensive performance by FAMU? Maybe not, but like this one Jackson State fan said, oh, the FAMU offense trash. We just made mistakes. I said, well, you let a trash team rush for over 100 yards on you.
Oh, yeah. That speaks volumes.
Yeah, like people, if they don't see high scores, all of a sudden it's trash. But they forget that there's a defense on the field. I'm just almost convinced that people do not want a defense on the field. Every game is not going to be 41-42. You know what I mean? Honestly, you want some of these games. It's just, and then getting into the game before I let you go. To me, one of the biggest things I saw was when FAMU snapped the ball, they slid their protection. JSU sending somebody every play, but when they slid their protection, Miles Gaddy coming off the end, there's nobody accounting for him on several plays. They slid the entire line away from the blitz. Nobody's picking them up. I can see that from the couch. I was hoping somebody could see that in the booth or on the sideline or something. But to me, it was just a defensive battle. Yeah, JSU made some mistakes and may have left some points on the field. But to me, that's with any game. You don't go off of what might have happened. You go off of what actually happened. So both teams moved the ball on each other. Both teams made mistakes. Both teams' defense played well, in my opinion. It's just JSU inched it out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Shador played a great game. He did what they asked him to do. That he took a lot of underneath stuff because the receivers were working one-on-one against linebackers. He took that matchup. He went deep a few times. He hit a couple passes. He fumbled twice. One of them was a definite freshman mistake. And then the other one, I chalk up the other one, man. That was a bad exchange. I think he was going to pull it on his own read, and it flew out. I've seen that happen before.
Right.
So that's just I won't call it a fluke, but that's a play that can happen to anybody. But he did what they asked him to do. He didn't get rattled. He showed good poise. Florida and them on the offensive side, their quarterback was lost, like you said. They shift their protections. I watched the running back move over to the left side and leave Niles Gaddy coming off the right side. The quarterback not seeing that. If he not seeing that and realigning his team, then that's a problem. So obviously, I think Florida and them going with a quarterback change this week. But I was thoroughly entertained with that game. I enjoyed it because I just wanted to see who could score. Jackson State had a chance to put the game away when they went for it on 4th down and they didn't get it. But that was a good game for me. It might not have been the best game to introduce somebody to SWAC football, but I thought that was a good game. And we got a couple comments I want to pop on the screen real quick about this game. This one, Fontre Bennett, he said both teams left points on the field. It was a defensive game, and the block field goal. Then he also said that that he's a rattler. So strike, y'all gonna be back. He just said he wished the coaching staff had paid more attention. And you cannot do what they did. You just can't make those kind of mistakes and not adjust. If a team is sitting in a house and one guy is routinely coming unblocked, that's just not good football. So they'll have to fix that because they have some more teams coming up later in the season who will have defensive lines who are going to be aggressive. So they're going to have to fix that.
Also, another thing I noticed on defense, speaking in terms of Sanders taking the crossing patterns, can't think of the kid's name, but number 1 for JSU, the one that transferred from Bama. He threw to him. He threw to him all day. But I saw a couple of times where he running a crossing pattern, and A&M was letting him cross his face. You never let a receiver cross your face running across the field without putting your hands on them, touching them, or something like that. So it's those small things like that some people, may not be looking at, a casual fan may not be paying attention to, but those make all the difference in the world. You giving him a free release going across the field. You don't do that. You got to put your hands on that kid.
All right, we got one more comment I want to throw on the screen about this game before we move on. And it's from Sean Moore. He said the quarterback at the end of the game for FAMU looked more comfortable than the starter. He's going to start on Saturday, and that kid's a freshman. I thought he had a better command of what they wanted to do. He, obviously he made some mistakes at the end. I thought you can't take a sack, in that position, but that's a freshman move. So we'll see what FAMU do moving forward. So let's throw week 1 in the background and let's go ahead and run through week 2 and make our picks.
All right. So we got Bama State versus Auburn. Of course, I'm taking Auburn in that one. What you got?
Go ahead. I don't know if y'all watch Marvel movies, but if y'all do, the great Anthony Mackie, he like to say, cut the check. So Auburn cut that check, Alabama State get it and go, man. Make it out of there with no major injuries and live to fight another day.
Grambling State, Southern Miss. I don't think neither one of them's great, but I'm gonna take Southern Miss.
I'm gonna take Southern Miss too. I saw an article. I don't know if it's satire or if it was real, but the USM coach was quoted as saying he's the worst coach ever at Southern Miss. So that's not a good. If he really said that, that's not a good look going into this game. But still, they're gonna beat Grambling. So I think Southern Miss will pull it out, even if that coach don't coach. So I think they got it.
Is Jay Hobson not there anymore?
No, he got fired last year after the first game of the season, which ironically they lost to South Alabama the first game last year.
Yeah,
they lost to them again this year. I think I saw they went through 3 coaches last year. So,
man, that's crazy. Maybe somebody else in the SWAC need to reach and get him. But
oh yeah, somebody he ain't gonna be unemployed for long.
Right. I got TSU and Baylor. I'm taking Baylor.
Same. I'm going Baylor. Ain't no need to even pretend. I like TSU. I got some good TSU fans out there, but y'all, not this week.
Did somebody say Grambling? They picking Grambling against Southern Miss? All right.
Yeah, I think that's all right. Hey, I like that, man. If you're going Grambling, hey, let's hope the G-Man can do it. Southern Miss not looking too good, but I disagree. But hey, I like the confidence.
Let's go Tennessee State, JSU. I just gotta go JSU from what I seen.
I think this game gonna be ugly, man. I don't want to put too much pressure on nobody, but I think JSU gonna kill Tennessee State, man. Their defense, I think, is just gonna shut them down. But I don't think it's gonna be like a crazy blowout. But I think it's gonna be one of those kind of games where it looked worse than what it is because the other team just can't really do anything. I don't have any confidence in Tennessee State right now. I think offense for Jackson State gonna score. They probably gonna get a special teams touchdown. Defense gonna do their thing. So I'm going with SWAC in that one. Let's go JSU.
Northwestern State and Alcorn. I'm actually go Alcorn.
I'm gonna take Alcorn too. This is a big game. This Northwestern State is not good, but this is the kind of game that the SWAC needs to win. So I think Alcorn will rebound. I think they're gonna look a lot different than they did in the first game. So I'm going Alcorn.
Southern Miles College. I'm taking Southern.
I'm taking Southern. If Southern loses game, man, you might need a new co-host. So I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of that stadium if they don't win. But I think Southern gonna correct all the stuff that they had happen at Troy. But Miles gonna put up a fight. So anybody out there who didn't see what Miles did against Alabama State, come to stadium prepared, man, because Miles is gonna fight. They're gonna try to take that out the ball, but I think Southern gonna win. So for the sake of the show, let's go Jags, because I don't want to have DJ have to find a new co-host. So let's not let that happen.
All right, we got PV and Incarnate Word. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I'm taking PV.
I'm going PV too. I was looking at some of the stats. Incarnate Word, they lost to Youngstown State 44-41, I think it was. Youngstown State ran for almost 400 yards. They threw for Incarnate Word threw for almost 400 yards, so it was no defense. So I think if Prairie View's offense is like it was last week, I think they're going to do good because I think Prairie View's defense is going to do enough to win this game. So I'm going SWAC again.
All right. This is a sneaky game. FAMU, Fort Valley State. I'm going to go FAMU, but I think Fort Valley State got a pretty decent team.
Yeah, I didn't watch the game, but they played Tuskegee. Fort Valley played Tuskegee Sunday night, and they shut them out 30-0. And that's Tuskegee is typically a solid program in their conference, so that's a big game. But I think FAMU they got to fix their quarterback issue. This is not really the game you want to have to fix that kind of stuff, but they're gonna have to. I think their defense will do enough to get them to win. And if they run the ball against Fort Valley the way they ran against Jackson, they'll be successful.
All right, last game of the week, Bethune Cookman, UCF. I got to go UCF in this one.
Yeah, I'm going UCF. They are offensive machine. They score points. I do want to go back real quick to the FAMU game. We just got another comment. It said that FAMU defense is tough, but if they can run the ball, they're going to win. And that's basically the way I feel. So if the running game is going, and they both running backs against Jackson average 5 yards a carry. So if you can get 5 yards a carry against that defense, then you should be okay against anybody else. So they have to focus on the running game and not expect the quarterback to do too much, and I think they'll be all right. But it's not going to be pretty. So just like Southern Miles, it's not going to be pretty, but they'll find a way to win.
I definitely agree. That's what I was trying to explain to all these Jackson State super fans or whatever you want to call them. I mean, y'all got the ball ran on y'all very well. So, and that's not going to be the only team to run it all over. If Southern offensive line as good as it has been, we should see a great game during that time, but that's way on down the line. But yeah.
So we got a loaded week 2, man. They 9 games on the schedule. So I don't know how you feel as a fan with your team being off so early in the season. I never was a fan of an early off week. It's kind of to me it's kind of weird, but that sets up a long stretch later in the season. But should be some interesting games. Got a couple money games, got a couple Division II games, but those 3 out of conference games are all big. The SWAC definitely needs to beat the Southland. That's just we can't keep losing those games. So we really need to take care of that. So I expect to see some good SWAC results this week. So hopefully everybody get better. The cliche is you improve the most between your first and second game. So we'll see.
Definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm going to try to tune in to the JSU game at 6 on Saturday and see what happens in that one.
Well, I have my phone right there. So we'll I'm gonna be checking scores, watching the game, checking scores, watching the game. If anybody coming to the game in Southern, man, y'all make sure y'all mask up because they are mandating to wear masks in the stadium. I just want to pass that along in case if you missed that. But hopefully, if anybody going to the game, man, y'all let us know how it turned out. Enjoy this season as it comes because football moves so fast. So if you can catch a game and enjoy. So I don't have anything else to add today. We'll tally up our picks from this week and we'll see how we did. You got anything you want to throw in there before we get out of here?
No. Just be safe this weekend, enjoy, and let's watch as much football as we can.
That's right. So I'd like to thank all y'all for tuning in, man, and with the comments. That was fun. So let's do this again, man. You want to go live again next week?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. Hey, we're gonna go live again next week, same time. Y'all come back and get with us in the comments again. So we'll catch y'all next Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll holler at y'all.
Yes, sir.